What is a little known warning from nature that can save your life? Squirrels will sometimes watch you from a distance while making alarm calls. The sound varies by species, but it's generally a sort of squawking bark. If you hear them barking, and they aren't yelling at you, then there may be something else around they think is a predator. It's worth paying attention. Yep. Lol, I feed the squirrels and they yell about dogs, cats, people, hawks. I've even been warned by my little guy. He ran up to me in panic, then ran up a tree. And continued to yell at me until I got into my tree, the car. There was a neighbor walking his 2 dogs. Lol. If you are swimming at the beach or a coastal inlet and see an unusually calm area of water, get away from it, it could be a riptide. On that note, if you get stuck in a rip, don't swim against it, you will tire and drown. Swim parallel to the coast till you swim out of the rip. Weirdly, if you just float in a rip, it will pull you quite far out to sea, push you sideways, but then also bring you back in on the surf. This takes nerves of steel obviously, but it works. People die from exhaustion in a rip more than anything. I got in the famous one at Bondi Beach by accident as a teenager, and it really is terrifying to experience fighting against it. I heard about the trick above after that experience. Got caught in one in Jamaica. I just started to float and let it carry me out a bit, then just backstroked parallel to shore until I could swim in. Had to haul myself up on a private dock, slicing my feet pretty good on barnacles, and limp back to the hotel we were at, trailing blood. A nice hotel employee made me some towel shoes to wear back inside. Now I grew up there and on the Texas Gulf Coast, so I knew riptides. Hell, in Texas we were taken on a field trip to learn about them. Even with that knowledge, I didn't see it. Water was too calm everywhere to see the signs. Only way I knew was realizing I wasn't making progress to shore. Oh. I can answer this. If you're hiking and suddenly smell something very musky, almost reminiscent of a faint country manure, keep your fucking eyes open. I was hiking on the Appalachian Trail today, up in Maryland. The wind shifted and the smell changed to something like I described above. Caught me off guard, but I kept hiking. About a quarter mile later, I turned around and began to head to my car since I was already 6 miles into a 2.5-mile hike. Right around where the smell changed, I heard a sudden crashing sound and saw a black bear just fucking busting its way away from the trail into the woods. I had walked past it, and then came back upon it when I turned around. TLDR, if you're hiking and the ambient scent changes suddenly, you're probably close to an animal. Your own senses. If you feel like something is wrong, there is a good chance it is. In your peripheral you may have seen something or gotten a vibe from someone that made your hair stand. Don't just dismiss the feeling. Our subconscious is very attuned to hostile body language and people capable of violence. Edit. If you have anxiety disorder and your subconscious goes more haywire than usual, it's time to leave the situation anyway. Even if benign, you are likely to have a panic attack, which is not fun either. It's harder to feel the difference since your baseline anxiety is always up there, but if you feel an increase, it's a good idea to move away. You might be wrong half the time, but the point is it's never worth the risk. Also, trusting your instincts, even if they are wrong, will reduce your anxiety because you have done what your most base brain has asked you to. You will start to realize that you can soothe that anxious part of yourself because it will know it can get out of a bad situation when it happens. That control and predictably will reduce anxiety and give your senses a rest so they can be more attuned to actual danger. This is by far the biggest one. We've got the universe's most complex computer in our heads, and consciousness is just an emergent function, meaning it doesn't have all the same information that you have. Sometimes the subconscious figures out things that your conscious mind may not yet be aware of. Listen to your own subconscious, it's damn good at what it does. Especially if you feel danger, take it seriously. If a tree is hot to touch, get the fuck out. I don't know if this is common in other countries, but here in Australia we have what's called widowmakers. Basically, eucalypt trees are extremely flammable and it's possible for the tree to be on fire internally, but not visible on the outside, and can literally explode at any given moment. If a tornado looks like it's not moving, chances are that it is either coming right at you, or it's moving away from you. Always assume it's coming towards you and seek shelter right away. Not sure about this one. Tornadoes do a lot of weird stuff. El Reno did a full 180 if I remember right. No expert here, but I've lived in Missouri my whole life. New Year's Eve, a tornado tore down a house and the neighbor's house about 15 feet away still had its Christmas lights up. Another one jumped over our house that's on the peak of a valley and take out a garage and barn at the base of the valley. Never try and predict what a tornado will do, emo. Some tornadoes hit one house and miss the one next to it because some are actually a pair of tornadoes circling each other as they move together in one direction, dancing. So because of that curved back and forth overall path, they'll sometimes hit every other house in the direction they're moving. And yes, some follow the traditional idea of a single tornado going in a mostly straight line. Didn't the system that hit Oklahoma City back in '98 or so have something like 7 tornadoes? Or maybe even higher? That was crazy. Yeah, if a tornado passes, don't immediately leave shelter, thinking you're safe. There could be more, or, in your example, the same one could even do a 180 and hit you again, though that's less common. Also, learning to read radar can help. There's the infamous hook echo, sort of a small swirl area on the radar that is the system condensing into the tornado. But that's often hard to tell one way or another, even for professionals. But what I find useful is that tornadoes, when they happen, are usually on the heavy back edge of a thunderstorm. So that's the area you generally want to be most careful and alert around. If you happen upon a moose and aren't intending to be that close, hunters, regardless of the season, you should leave immediately. Moose are not your friends. You'll have a window of opportunity to leave. Take it. The cows will straight up murder you, especially if she has calves, and the bulls might take down half a forest to murder you. Thanks for the wholesome award and all the replies. I once had a surprise lightning storm form behind a mountain and then move in on us kayaking across a bay. We went to shore immediately, spread out and crouched in lightning drill for maybe 15 minutes, which feels like eons when you're crouched like that with your feet together. At one point, while timing the flash to thunder, I thought, sick, the lightning is moving away from us. Then I heard a soft buzzing, slowly getting louder. There was literally nowhere better to be, so I just stayed crouched with dread growing as the buzz got louder. Then an old plane came out of the cloud, hence the buzzing. So much relief, also fuck that plane. If you are in a canyon, slot or otherwise, and you see clouds anywhere in the sky, GTFO, it could be raining miles away and cause a flash flood in less than 10 minutes as water rushes through the canyon. Get to higher ground. Also, if you are whitewater rafting or doing any sort of river trip, if you fall out of your boat, float downstream feet first. Hitting your head can kill you. In a survival situation, remember the rules of 3. You can survive 3 minutes without oxygen, 3 hours without shelter, in a harsh environment, 3 days without water, and 3 weeks without food. Prioritize. Edit to appease sticklers. In Australia, standing dead still will get you out of trouble with most snakes, with the notable exception of a tiger snake. You might think this means you should run, however tiger snakes are also one of the few that will chase you, and they're damn fast. An old bushman told me once, if you see a tiger snake close enough to strike you, just kill it, cause it's kill or be killed once it knows you're there. ETA, a bit of common sense goes a long way, and I'm sure he didn't mean to antagonize it. If it's just moving on its way, you by all means can try to move away or wait it out if it hadn't noticed you. But yes, a few people I know, including my mum, have been chased decent distances by them. I've been lucky and always seen them far enough away that I've been able to avoid them, but I have no doubt about the chasing thing. I've heard it from too many disparate sources. The bushman I mentioned also always carried a fairly decent-sized hatchet and was rarely out of reaching distance from a gun, so it's not like he was saying to kill it with a stick either. He assumed, rightly so, us being farm kids, we would always have a gun or tool of some sort on hand with which to dispatch them if needed. Also be aware that since then, early 90s, it has been made illegal to kill them even in self-defense. Lots of comments replying to this that browns are worse and that Tasmanian tiger snakes are chill. Worth noting. Thanks for all the replies with different views.